Gonna roll it as is. Last chance starts in about 10 minutes. So no Merc. No, this list is a little light on instants and sorceries, actually. So there's no counter spell in the 75. Subtlety is a much higher count. Quantum Riddler is a higher count. You got 4 Tameo, 2 Bowmaster, and 4 Frog plus like the Kaito. So you're not really getting Murktide online too proactively. And combine that with like Quantum Riddler kind of being your top end evasive dodge removal threat. It's a little bit slower when you need to be like over the top aggressive, but we don't see like Eldrazi in the meta much at all anymore. So there's not really that many matchups where you need to go over the top aggressive. At the moment, it's a lot of like combo matchups where having a bunch of free stuff is really, really good. It's like the 4 force, 4 subtlety to a lesser extent. And then a lot of value decks, a lot of Blink, Zoo, Boros, where just seeing like more cards with Quantum Riddler is a bit nicer than just a vanilla body. I would love to play first. I've got a Tameo and a Frog and a Riddler, and yeah. But is it like the one with the avatar face is Commander? That would be my guess. Like that looks like something Commander players want to do. That looks like it could be a standard set symbol. Yang is Commander. Okay. That makes sense. Tomato on tomato violence. Which one's Commander, which one's normal? That's fine. But you knew what I meant. You knew exactly what I was talking about. There was no, oh, I'm not really sure. Some sort of affinity. I have to just let this go. Like, I'd like to be able to double discard, fly the Frog, block the Tameo, and just get it off the board. Not going to give me the chance. Sure. So what I meant was the 5-mana Ang with white Pip is Commander. This one. So like this is Commander. This. Opponent's got like a metallic rebuke here. I will pay. Dark Slick, flip the Tameo. Like we're pretty far ahead. You can never be too sure against Saga decks. It's like it's pretty easy for them to just have a fairly explosive turn. Especially if they have like main deck Pithing Needle for the Tameo. If I had known that they were going to have just like nothing after the MOCS Opal, I probably would have gone for Force on that. But live and you learn. Try to cut them off of Metalcraft and like casting a Kappa Cannoneer here. We're dealing us -1, so we gain 1 life, right? Thankfully, I don't think that 1 life would matter, but this is currently a 4-5, 4-4. I do kind of like being able to jump Frog in these games without Murktide, without like having to worry about thing happening to it. Or not having to worry about like the graveyard problem. Like to find another land. You played Tameo. Already drew our card this turn, so we're not going to be like cracking a clue here. I guess the funny thing would be if they get Pithing Needle and name Tameo, it shuts off like both of our Tameos. a Shadow Spear. Steel Cutter is annoying, but fine. Okay, so I'm going to start by going for shoot the sheriff on the construct token because I want to know if I need to block this before I go to blocks. Like if they have another metallic rebuke, I kind of have to block it. Cameo loses a couple points, but so be it. Not gonna have a metallic rebuke and don't want to cast it, or do they not have one? Have a Kappa. Okay. Don't really have a good way of stopping Kappa Cannoneer. That Kappa with a Shadow Spear is going to be pretty annoying. By Quantum Riddler, it flips Tameo, so I need to decide what I'm doing with my other Tameo first, which could just be buyback, shoot the sheriff. Two cards in hand. I think I go buyback, shoot. Yeah. Buyback, shoot first. Then attack in with Frog. Am I holding back? Attack in with Frog. Shadow Spear. Start playing some stuff. Steven, what's up? Damn. To being able to kill this Kappa Cannoneer. So Tamio's just like undeniably cooked next turn. I guess not. I guess we can frog to block something, let the Tamio go. Kill something else. Maybe we're able to find a line. Such a weird spot to be in. I just know they've got an artifact of some sort, or they've got to. Like this Corey Steel Cutter is inadvertently protecting the Kappa Cannoneer. I guess I got an artifact entering off Tamio. So. Could be giving me an out, though. Lock here. Do you have a copy of Metallic Rebuke? Fine, because I've got Tamio. Undercity. Oh. Need to get this Riddler back in play. So we're going to go minus on shoot. Here. Betrayal you. And I think I'm just... The odds they can double spell next turn. Do I care if they double spell? Because it's just taking out Tamio. I get to follow up with Riddler. Life a little bit easier. Okay, don't kill me. Guess realistically, they only have 2 mana right now. An Nickel Emissary and a Lava Spur Boots. Now, MOCS Amber's online too. Last card is a second copy of Corey Steel Cutter. I think I just let Tamio go. Try to save my frogs. Quantum Riddler. All 2. I need to find a fatal push, right? I need to kill this Emery so they can't double spell next turn. Five, play another blocker. Al Capone, what's up? Happy to catch you live. Just received a letter with essentially all the cards for the Mirror Frog today. So now I'm super stoked to go beating up on at F&M. Fair. Pretty funny. Need this to be a land. A land or something that doesn't allow them to double spell. Frog and Riddler kind of nutty. Frog and Riddler allow you to see a bunch of magic cards. Strap up the boots. Always more Emerys off the top. All right. I've got to have some way to get lethal here, right? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. We've got more than lethal when we untap. Block here, block here. They don't have anything they can do. Okay, 4 damage. I'm guessing opponent sees writing. The only way that Alpha Strike makes sense. Go. Fly frog. Fly frog. Frog. Yeah. I mean, it's like discard to a frog, crack a clue, draw 2, discard, crack a clue, draw 2. Get like 4, 8, 11, 12, 13, 19 power on board. Also, fatal push the Emery. Sick. We want to ferry. Maybe a couple consign. I don't really think consign's like that great against affinity anyway. It's okay, but I really want to have like subtlety, a pinnacle emissary into like mystical dispute for it or something. Hand's a little mid. Kaito's pretty lackluster. Probably just like cut all the Kaitos since I'm cutting multiple Tamio and the Bowmasters. Maybe I'm keeping the Bowmasters in over Tamio, but like Tamio is pretty good there. They're probably bringing Pithing Needle out of the board if they have it. This. You have a sideboard guide? Not really. I usually just kind of sideboard based on feel. But if you have questions, like if you want to know if I would sideboard something or get a general idea of how I sideboard a specific matchup, you're welcome to ask about it. Okay. The turn one Mox Opal makes me assume there's no Pinnacle Emissary here. Obviously, I love to see. Teferi is for like Blink, for the Mirror, for any sort of control matchups. Grixis control, for Goryo's, Belcher. That sort of stuff. This is rough. Scolding this instead of Fatal Push, so I can save Push for a Saga. From. Go to war. Do they have the Kappa Cannoneer here? Push a construct, bounce a construct, and still only be down one card. Looks like a Kappa Cannoneer. Put the Cannoneer on top. So let's find a land off of our frog. Go to. idea what we're up against. Ori Steel Cutter, take Tameo. So you've got a MOCS Opal and a Kappa Cannoneer coming off the top. In a construct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the opal. If they get like a pithing needle, they can have. I think I discard the shoot the sheriff here, because I don't want them to be able to get a pithing needle without me getting an extra point of power on the frog. And I want to get another card out of hand so that I can Riddler. Saw it coming. Kappa again. Now, put Kappa Cannoneer back on top again. Now I've got a decision to make. Frog is needled. I need to find like a strategic betrayal. Something to answer this Kappa Cannoneer. So I think I'm supposed to Riddler here. And now I can Fatal Push the construct and draw 2 more off the frog. Could have been better, but not terrible. They got to spend their whole turn just replaying Kappa. Still have to find an answer for. Not an answer. Keeping both of these. Out the frog this turn. I have to hope that they don't have a good hit this turn. think Frog's kind of fine because it lets me keep attacking. Like, I get to see another card off of this. And I just want to see if I can hit a land for like a Riddler. Frog is bad, he says. Okay. That's pest control. Metallic Rebuke. Okay, so I'm dead if an artifact resolves. I can't cast anything if I Riddler, ditch my hand, and draw into a strategic betrayal. So I think I need to just go for the frog attack first. See if I happen to rip the betrayal. Don't. So now we play the Riddler, hold up force, and hope. All right. Come on, deck. I could discard my entire hand and stand in front of a Kappa Cannoneer. I can surveil first, looking for an answer. I need to find an answer. I'm down too far on clock. I need to kind of know right now if I've got a chance or not. Like, discard my entire hand to block the Kappa Cannoneer is an option, but just like one artifact and I'm dead anyway. I can't counter an artifact or I'm dead. And I can't really afford to play draw go with like no time on the clock. That's a hand, isn't it? That's a lot of stuff. Cameo. Top deck a Pinnacle Emissary. Put the Pinnacle Emissary on the bottom? I am really, really surprised to see put Pinnacle Emissary on the bottom. Bruh. Can't be doing this to me. Who was it that said this was your friend? Okay, I think I go for the getting the force out of hand here. Hit the force. They pitch a Tameo. Now we get to hit the yard plus one of these threats. Shut down the Emery one way or the other. The last card is Metallic Rebuke. Frog versus Tameo. Tail as old as MH3. Going all in on the frog. Metallic Rebuke target. If you're Metallic Rebuking, then you're not cracking a clue. They are threatening to just flip Tameo next turn. I guess if their entire turn is draw 2 cards, flip Tameo, I'm kind of okay with that. Pass with nothing. But yeah, we're gonna discard this in case they top deck like a pithing needle. Udawara, get out of here! Out of here, Odawara. Opponent's had some spicy draws. Glad I got this this dispute, because does not want to miss, do they? Have to sit back on this Undercity Sewers, because if I don't, I can't attack into Tameo next turn. I'm going to see the Tameo flip. Whip up the Tameo and get in there. Okay. Just like a fatal push. I'm going to try to go for a better top deck here. I think if I can rip something like a pest control, that might be a little bit better than that extra point of power. Hi. Hey. Cameo. Yeah, top deck pest control would be the game. Show it to me, deck. Have to attack at them. They get back. Thought cast. I think I just let them have this block and hold up. Or do I? They're going to have like a construct token regardless. Get Tamio off the field because just more cards they could potentially see. Rip a Kappa here. We just cry regardless. Dead. Soul Guide Lantern, Tamio minus, get back Thought Cast. I should have re-equipped the Corey Steel, right? Like this one extra point doesn't matter. Could just be killing me here. Hit the Kappa. Plus. Well, holding up subtlety would have been holding up subtlety would have given me the out of top decking a Quantum Riddler, but only if they had cameo attack. Saying round one. Yeah, I mean, this would have been pretty nice if we could have just seen a pest control in the top half. So let's go cast with replicate, target 3 times. Gonna hit you. What do we thought seized turn one? Turn one, I thought seized an Emery. And then they top decked a Pinnacle Emissary. I subtletied that. Then they drew another copy of Emery off of that. Thereafter that. Wait, are we just winning on time? Holy shit, I didn't even notice they only have 6 seconds left. We just win on time, right? They can't play 2 spells and attack. I hate this game so much. I was thinking they still have like 2 minutes left. Oh my God. I was so sure they still had like 2 minutes on the clock. Both teams fought the clock hard. I mean, I don't like playing for the clock, but at the same time, like, we're not dead right here. We're still playing. I didn't slow roll my opponent or, like, try to play for the clock. So I don't feel so bad about it. But we did go through half of our deck and not see a pest control, and that kind of sucks. Now draw the pest control. Won't even let me see. Second round. Was the 2 betrayal thought, Riddler, Zoo, Neoform. It's a bit of a combination. Thought seizing on 1. If I had a force a negation to main deck Veil of Summer. Taking Neoform. But the thought behind it is mostly the versatility. Like, you get an Edict effect against stuff like Kappa Cannoneer, Scion of Draco, which is nice, obviously. But you also get, like, Graveyard Hate against Flage decks. So, like, kill a dude, exile Flage from the yard. You could also just play it as Grave Hate. Like, I've just cast a Strategic Betrayal against no creatures on my living end opponent and just nuke their yard. So it's kind of cool in those regards. As far as the clock goes, in a perfect world, I would love to have chess clocks in a competitive environment like RCs or Pro Tours or whatever. It's not something that you can realistically implement. So I'm not saying I think they should go out and do it. I just think, like, if there were a way to, I would love to see that, because I think each player should be allotted 25 minutes. If your time runs out, your time runs out. I understand that Magic compared to chess has got so many priority exchanges that you can't do it. You can't sit there and like constantly hit it. Because what do you want to do if you just say like enter combat, hit the clock, and just like sit there and wait for your opponent, declare attacks, turn, hit the clock, declare blocks, hit the clock. Now, maybe the answer is to treat Magic like you treat like VGC competitive Pokemon, where both sides just show up with like an actual tablet or handheld or whatever and play the game on that and call it a day. And maybe we can get into some discussions. I want to draw this fourth land so I can keep an extra blue card for subtlety. Subtlety evoking is a pretty good way to interact with Allosaurus Rider that gets around Veil of Summer. I'm kind of hoping that we can just win the game with a Tameo ult in a few turns. Or sub 4/4 seems pretty good versus Neo. To be fair, like any combination of our cards seems pretty good into Neo. Some number of Thoughtseize, some number of Spell Snare, Force Negation, Counterspell, Subtlety. Whatever you feel like registering on that Tuesday afternoon is probably pretty good into Neo form. We're only out his voice of victory. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up right now. You take that back. Say that. I don't want to play this they're only out game. Someone did 5-0 in LCQ yesterday with Neoform. I'm not really surprised at all. Like 5-round events usually kind of favor unfair combo decks. Because if you just run into like 4 or 5 people that aren't prepared for it, or you just try to hit people that are also doing unfair stuff, but you do it a turn faster, like you're in a pretty good spot. My hand hider. I don't think my opponent is ghosting, but sure tanking a while. You've all seen my hand. You know what it is at this point. Neoform absolutely crushes energy in Eldrazi. It's basically favored against anything that's not blue. Yeah, but it is a dog to the blue decks. Which I think there's like a reasonable amount of blue decks running around, whether it be Gorios or Murktide, Simic Ritual deck. Like, there's some blue stuff. Zoo has got stubborn denials. And like even Boros isn't completely free because they do have access to High Noon out of the board. I don't know how they are into Esper. I chose to draw a card instead of putting a land into play. How's Gorio's into Esper? Into the Blink decks? Still good. You just grab your Rennie. There. Got Allosaurus Rider exiling double Summoners Pact. Gonna go for a Subtlety. They do still have plenty of cards to recast Allosaurus Rider, which is kind of annoying, but step at a time. I feel like we shouldn't be up 5 minutes in the third turn of the game. Wonder if opponents double queuing. We know they've got a Disciple of Veil of Summer. I'm assuming they've got a copy of either Neoform or Eldritch Evolution. Because there's like no reason you would fire off this Allosaurus Rider if you didn't. Unless they're just trying to like value play the Allosaurus Rider, which is possible. A lot of board states where Esper can beat your any though, namely racing it with Solitude. Simply setting up a chump with Quantum Riddler. Cool. All right, so they put the Allosaurus Rider on top. We're going to save the fetch land. I really wish that could have been a blue spell. They did keep the Allosaurus Rider on top. So we know Disciple, Veil, Allosaurus Rider. I assume like a Neoform effect. 2 unknowns. One unknown. Bit of Veil of Summer Disciple. So we've got options. Is there one I think is particularly better than the other? Am I waiting for the Neoform, or am I going after this Allosaurus Rider? I think I would rather go after the Rider. Either one loses to Summoner's Pact, or Pact of Negation. So... Oh, actually, no. I should have gone for Sync, because this loses to Consign plus Neoform. I should have either gone for Sync on the Rider or Sync on the Neoform. Probably Sync on the Neoform. But I should not have gone for Subtlety because of main deck Consigned to Memory. Interesting. Seen someone have Ewit Woodland Bellower package. Now we're talking. Oh, we're talking. I want the other Strategic Betrayal. I also like Harbinger against them. Like, if they don't get the basic forest, Harbinger can just be a lockout sometimes. Don't you miss the Murktide? Sometimes. Like, there's metas that are really good for Murktide, and there's metas that aren't. And when you're in a meta full of, like, Solitudes with Blink everywhere, Murktide, a lot of times, is just like a liability. Quantum Riddler, at least, is going to replace itself. You have a lot of ways to get Forest. It's not that many. Like... So, Beseiju, Breeding Pool, Hedge Mazes all get shut off. One basic Forest, which means Eldritch Evolution is off the table. Can't like Neoform plus Veil of Summer. And if you are able to interact early or they need to set up with hedge mazes, they can lock themselves out. Plus, if they've got something like Gemstone Caverns, it stops that. If they've got any sort of a splash color running off color surveils, it stops that or potentially locks that out. They do have the cycler, but like not everybody runs the cycler. We didn't see it last game. I don't want to just assume that they've got it. This is a step in the right direction for me. That's not a forest. Also not a basic forest. Cycling a Veil of Summer. Not a basic forest. All I'm saying is this Harbinger would go pretty hard right now. You can hate it if you want, but I'd be pretty happy to see it at this moment. Dog's going crazy downstairs. Okay. I want this land. Am I going for Thoughtseize or am I just going for another frog? Like another frog is definitely better in the long term. They just cycled a Veil, so I'm going to assume they have a second Veil. They also bottomed to Summoners, or been to Summoners Pact. That's kind of surprising. That's like a really good card to have. Another Allosaurus and a Disciple. If they've got like Consign Neoform. All right, well, that's a Consign, but it's not a Neoform. Let's go Thoughtseize. See what's up. Pact of Negation, Gristlebrand. Okay, we're going to take a Pact of Negation. And we are going to shoot the Sheriff, an Allosaurus Rider, and attack. Opponent's going to scoop it up. Potential to solo the Blink matchup. So if you're cutting on Kaito, you just got to accept that, like, that's something that can happen. Last seen a day ago on Ruby Storm. And isn't great into Storm, but I kind of like the idea of keeping something a little dicier on the play with a bunch of ways to see new cards. And I can interact with like a Ruby medallion, or not a Ruby medallion, a RAL. If they're even on Storm, it might not be. That doesn't look very stormy. AFCs always throw me off. Yeah, it can be hard to evaluate sometimes with them. It's just back-to-back Neo form. It's either Living End or Neo form. And I don't think either one is like particularly distinguishable from this point. It's Neo form. Back-to-back Neo form. I was not prepared. Form's really picked up in popularity lately, clearly. I don't think Fatal Push is doing anything for me. Go for Preordain. If they have the counter spell for it, that's kind of fine. Take another land, flip the Tameo. Lena Genesis. But I do want to stress that this is absolutely a game that we can very easily lose from this spot. Don't have like a force of negation. We don't have a second subtlety. Keep the most interactive hand in the world. Summoner's Pact, Disciple. Allosaurus Rider on the bottom. What do I want to do here? Preordain first. All right, I go top, land, Riddler. Back, discard here. Pick up Tameo, go. Let's get another Surveil. More Tameos. Good draw. Really, really good draw. So this puts them on a 1-turn clock. Could just hard cast Quantum Riddler. Like if I miss a blue card, I can Tameo buy back something and have double pitch up. Now, if I have to double pitch, I don't lose out on having lethal next turn. Like if they want a Pact of Negation, my like any way they want to interact with the Riddler, if they have like main deck Mystical Dispute or a Pact of Negation, untap Consign or whatever, I still get double pitch out of that. So I think it's worth it to go for. Is out of here. I'm on the draw. Cutting Bowmasters. Play Basic Forest, right? Harbinger seems 50-50. So I think this is one of those scenarios of how does the game play out versus how does it look on paper? Like on paper, yeah, they've got Basic Forest. They're probably going to get it some amount of the time. But when you actually start playing out the game, how many times are they getting Surveil lands early or something like that? Or Harbinger locking them out of double green so they can't Veil or Neoform plus Veil, or they can't cast Eldritch Evolution at all. Like, how relevant are those things? Bad. So, like, yeah, they have a basic forest, but I just don't know if that's enough of a reason to not play a card that can potentially lock them out. Like, we saw Generous Int, but are we saying that, like, a Stern Scolding or a Push or a Bowmaster or something is better than that potential? All right, so since they're getting a Surveil land here on my main phase, I'm going to go for the Dreams of Steel and Oil. I don't know why they didn't wait until my end step for this. But I'm definitely going to take advantage of my opponent not having Veil of Summer up. Perhaps they just didn't think about me getting priority back after this. Did keep something on top. All right, so they've got the Pact. So if this is a green spell on top, they can go for it. It's not free. It's not an auto win. Of Neoform Hooting Mandrills. So I go for the Subtlety. They Pact of Negation. I Subtlety off of the Frog. Subtlety off of the Frog so that if opponent packs here and they Neoform the Allosaurus Rider and go get an Atraxa, I can potentially consign, replicate if they hit a consign to be able to counter their replicate trigger. Just going to get Gristlebrand. All right. Replicated consign. Replicate a consign, target their replicate trigger. They can still double pact to stop this. Oh, get out of here. Last seen 6 days ago on Affinity. shipping this back. No pitch stuff. Back. Fours. All right, what you got? Folding and push on one. Fine. No opal on one. Cameo. It's a pitch card to force if I want that. Or it's another form of getting some cards back if I want that. Ordered Urza Saga. Yeah. Not my choice of Urza Saga either, but their own. Higadero Rodriguez, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. All right, so opponent kept a one lander with a Saga. When it said Sag, said I know that feeling all too well. At least they're a good sport about it. They can get a MOCS opal off this, so like I'm gonna have some amount of mana. Cameo. Preordain. I don't hate another fatal push, but I don't know how much use I'm really getting out of it. I think I'd rather find like a subtlety. You could also get like a main deck pithing needle off of this. Straight up like Sag, I know that feeling all too well. It do be like that. That it do. I don't know opponent, but I like them. I can't imagine a world where they pithing needle polluted Delta, but I might as well just go ahead and fetch just in case. Like, no reason not to play around it, right? sacrifice a permanent, you gain 1 life. So is this just setting up for a Kappa Cannoneer? Like you have another free artifact if you want to cap a Cannoneer. Clause means weapons manufacturing. Fair. Learned today. Bubble me. Might Tameo back the Force of Negation. See, we draw a frog. Kind of like Tameo back the Force. Hold up. Star Bowman. Saw the Bowmaster off of the by Force first push or Stern Scolding. Because they're playing a bunch of non-creature artifacts that are really cheap. So I would rather interact with those than worry about interacting with a creature that I haven't seen yet. Scooped it up. Like, I haven't seen Emery. I haven't seen Tameo. They don't have a saga out to make a construct. So getting back Fatal Push might just be completely dead. But getting back Force Negation is good into like another weapons manufacturing that I've seen. Or another MOCS, another something. Going off the impression that it probably has a lot more relevant targets. I didn't play the same list a couple days ago. Yeah, so the list they played had weapons manufacturing and Kappa Cannoneer. So if they had Kappa, they could have gotten us there if we didn't force. Definitely felt like Kappa there. That turn they were playing out all the artifacts, it felt like they had a Kappa as their payoff. So I'm kind of assuming that's what it was. assuming they're on Pinnacle Emissary. Good. Got to decide like how much I'm buying into them being on the same or a similar list, or if it's going to be slightly different or what. You're in round 4 and have only played versus 2 decks, both of which you're just trying to win turn 1 or turn 2. We got to mention that before the event started, that I think those decks just have a really big advantage in these short round of tournaments. It's like reasonable chance that they're just going to run into a bunch of opponents that aren't prepared for them. Gonna do this to me, deck. Gonna give me the card I want to see with a tapped land on the draw. I think I gotta ship this. I think I just need like turn 1 interaction into turn 2 pest control. But it says, I have at least 1 colored land. Good luck. I'm in danger. We're back at Dreams. Okay. Okay. I think we go for the Dreams here. Try to interact with like a Pinnacle Emissary or Kappa or something. Are you ever worried about people ghosting on games, or are you over it? I mean, it's going to happen some amount of the times, and there's not like a whole lot you can do about it. Either you make the stream a less enjoyable experience by trying to play around opponents ghosting with hand hiders or whatnot, or you just kind of accept that it can happen. For me, I choose not to stream like big events because it can happen. Like if I qualify for the showcase, I would either stream it with a hand hider or I just wouldn't stream it. I'm going to subtlety this. I know the rest of their hand is another Springleaf Drum and another Claws of Gix. So if they put this on top and I can find a second land off the Preordain, then I know they're just playing Arcbound Ravager into Betrayal, and that's fine. On the bottom. But the oh. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, thank you, deck. Scare me like that, but thank you. Play out some of this stuff, please. Play out the claws. Play out whatever your last card is. What are the odds I'm going to need a second one of these? Probably lower than just wanting to find a land. If I find a land, I can safely pest control around Metallic Rebuke. Now we just need to find something that wins us the game. Magic, am I right? Counter the ever-living shit out of a Pinnacle Emissary right here. It's just... I'm a fan of opponent. They've got a believer in me. Yeah, they seem like they have a good time. Get some way to take advantage of all this time we've been given. Crap. What's their way of cracking the munitions? They've got Claws of Gix, which I think is just a one of. They've got Arcbound Ravager. Yeah, Engineered Explosives. Tony goes, this deck is so terrible. It's like, you got to make fun of my deck like that. I don't think they were saying it about my deck. Talking about my silly goose artifacts. About to have a big silly goose artifact. Ooh. I didn't realize that the lands triggered weapons manufacturing. That's pretty dope. Is it worth it to crack this clue? I don't think so. I don't think I'm flipping Tamio ever right here. Because I don't want them to just make a construct and get to like attack into it. Look, I've got an artifact too. It means you don't need to make any more constructs. Out the second pest control, right? Like, was really, really hoping that I would find a way to get around that. Like, just find some sort of a clock. Oh, you can't pay for this. Turn 9 and still live, baby. They have the Kappa too. Oh. Oh. Gonna be mad at me. Kappa enters, gets a counter. Missions. Wrap up the Kappa, sure. I want to type something to opponent like, you're going to be mad at me, and I just want you to know it's understandable. You're going to be upset with me, and I just want you to know that's understandable. So we're just double strategic betrayal this turn. Not Kaitoing, because I don't want to Kaito and risk not hitting the land drop. Okay. Where does this bobble come from? Are they empty-handed? Something? Oh, that was the warp Pinnacle Emissary. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Now I think I crack this. Yeah, I just forgot that that emissary was warped. It says, please cast pest control. Okay, thank you. I wish. All right. Land first in case of metallic rebuke. Kaito. Pick up the Kaito, pass the turn. Yeah, pest control would not do a whole lot for me right here. Gross. Okay. What good is stunning doing for me? Like, what's that accomplishing? They just play any artifact, they can move the Lava Spur Boots and have like multiple hasty attackers to kill Kaito. I don't think I've got any outs from here. I think we just go to game 3. Like pest control. I could block, get a basic, sink into stupor, the like one weapons manufacturing. No, because these still blow up at any point. So I think we just go to game 3. Kaito looks really, really bad into Pinnacle Emissary. Side note, why could they not have made Pinnacle Emissary like a 3-2 so you could stern scolding it instead of making it a 3-3 so you can't. Somebody explain that bit of logic to me. Whose terrible idea was that? Am I crazy for just throwing a sink? No. Throw a land over a sink. What's my last cut? I really want to just cut another fatal push. I think I might. But then again, like fatal push on turn 1 could be an answer into Pinnacle Emissary. To get 1 trigger, like on the play. I know it's not designed for modern, but like even in standard, you're not killing that with much. Like cut down, rotate it out, and they're like, oh, 5 total power toughness doesn't matter anymore. Just make it a 12-12. All bets are off. Second land. Okay. Bring back Tameo because I'm not casting that on 1. If I take the Pinnacle Emissary, I get land, Memnite, Ornithopter, Crypt, Springleaf Drum, Thoughtcast, draw 2. If I take Springleaf, they get land or Pinnacle, Midnight Ornithopter, Tormod's Crypt, make 3 drones, have Thoughtcast next turn. If I take the Thoughtcast, they get to Emissary, triple 1-drop. I'm going to just have to take the Emissary and hope Thoughtcast doesn't bury me. Pretty good hand. Well, I have to dodge Kappa. I have to dodge Urza's Saga. I have to dodge them just like chaining off thought monitors and thought casts and stuff. Put the fear of God into them when they put this thought cast on the stack. F6 until everything else, then Thoughtcast goes on the stack and pause. Definitely not worth bluffing anything here. Not dodge another Pinnacle Emissary. Chained off thought monitors and thought casts. Old brothers. Hold, brothers, hold. Why do these have flying? This is stupid. Hardcast Pinnacle Emissary. Yep. Pack for some amount. Say I will eat this midnight all day long. Okay, so we have to dodge Metallic Rebuke here. This doesn't have flying. Get in with a frog. So I'm pretty sure if I go for pest control right now, they just sack the Pinnacle Emissary. I think I'm supposed to just fire this off. I know Riddler here because I kind of want to see if I can hard cast this Riddler next turn. I feel like hard casting this would be a pretty good way to get ahead. I'm going to give up a chance to cast it here. We'll go discard Blooded Strand. Cast Preordain. I could have played out the land. But I'm going to draw multiple anyway. attacking with the small frog. Save big frog back to block. I should have played out the sink into stupor. So I could just freely discard the Thoughtseize. Not surprised that they're blocking here. I think I'm playing this out as a land so I can make sure I can hard cast my Riddler next turn. Hey. Galvanic Blast? Ah. God, Galvanic Blast after all that. Dang. But you gotta let me block and discard to my frog. Gonna make this actual lethal. Yeah, they're not they didn't play that in any sort of sus manner. That was fine. That was completely reasonable. If I had not attacked with the frog there, I'm still dead to the Galvanic Blast. I don't think there's anything I can do to not be dead for a Galvanic Blast there. I just never had that card anywhere on my radar. Like, maybe there was a line earlier where we didn't have the white source until like turn 4 or whatever. Maybe there was a line earlier where I could have fetched a Surveil. No, I had to fetch a shock land for that pest control. There's no way I could have dodged like taking another attack there. Playing this deck pretty religiously. They used to be just members of my board, but I switched them for this tournament. Damn. You had to switch them for this tournament, you're saying? No, we would have been dead to dismember too, so Didn't really matter. Either one would have killed us there. Except I think the Dismember wouldn't have been as much of a feels bad somehow. Have you seen the red redirect spoiler? I did. Somebody pointed it out earlier. The 1 mana, like, pay 5 life, redirect a spell or ability. Pretty sweet card. I don't know if it's something Shadow is at all interested in, but interesting. Redirect a Solitude. Can Solitude target itself? Redirect a Belcher. Except Belcher's got 50 million counters. I feel like Solitude can't target itself. Out to one other target creature, so you can't redirect a Solitude back at the Solitude. Has to be another creature around. It's lame. That would be like the blowout play. Last seen today on Amulet Titan. Boy. Urza Saga. Does he know? I think here we are going to ninjutsu after damage. I would like to find more cards that do stuff. Dig for some subtleties or something. I say or something, just subtleties. Find me subtleties. You can discuss the rest of the options on a later date, but like to see the Magic the Gathering card subtle. Which there are 4 in the deck. The main board. Vestige. Hey. Told you they were here. So let's go Fatal Push. Fatal Push because I want to zero the Kaito. Force. Force is fine. It's another blue card to pitch. Something, one of these things. We'll take a Summoner's Pact. Got a frog, say go. I know you want to make a construct. I know in your heart of hearts. Oh, this was. I think they played main deck Vexing Bauble. They just fail to find. Pretty positive they just failed to find. The person you've seen on main deck Bauble is Dom. I saw someone else on main deck Bauble recently. I don't remember who or what the reasoning was, but I just remember seeing main deck Bauble fetched for it or something. Gonna keep that on top for the sole purpose of having the combination answer here. Canister might run it in one of the 80 card. Okay, so what's up with these like 80 card builds of Amulet at the moment? I saw either Canister tweet about it or someone tweet about like it being Canister's list that they were playing. What is up with those? Amulet has remained tier 1 or 2. All right, so this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not going to have lethal this turn no matter what I do. That do anything for me? If I minus here, fly, attack, they make a construct, block 1. No. Trophied with 100? When? When the hell did you trophy with 100 cards? What kind of bullshit is this? Out here trophying with 4,000 card decks. I think I'm just stunning this. They make a new construct. They block Kaito. I get in for 5. They're just dead in the air to a frog next turn. Kind of fine. Or is this lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, this is. This is lethal. regardless of how they block. So they block like this. I ninjutsu in on the Bowmasters. Keep the new Kaito. Discard 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. From to 1. Could have also discarded the Bowmaster to the Frog, whatever. Stupid. Pass the cards, forehead. Feels like one of those spots where like 12 people in chat were secretly yelling at me in their heads like, what are you doing? Just ninjutsu the other unblocked creature and pick up the card and that gives you lethal. And you like Dreams misses a lot in my experience. It's not great. It's okay. I think it's better than like one of these extra clunky spells, or better than like an extra fatal push or a sorcery speed removal spell. So it's not like, oh my God, I want Dreams in the deck. Dreams is so good. It's just, is Dreams better than like a fatal push? Probably. Fence grid. How about defense? Get rid of it. Oh. That was pretty bad. That's everybody that had to suffer through that. Can defense grid? No. Please stick to Magic. This is a Wendy's. Speaking of getting rid of stuff on the battlefield, I don't mind a Tameo here. Kind of rude. Oh, never mind. Less rude. So that's a hard cast Riddler next turn. I think I'm just passing here. The opponent knows how much of a problem Bobble is for us. There's usually like a turn or two window that Bobble is really, really good. And once you get past that, it's kind of mid. Like once you get to a point where you can just hard cast Subtlety, Bobble doesn't really matter anymore. Is there any argument for casting the Riddler from my hand? So if I get to subtlety something, then I can untap with one card in hand and draw two and just flip Tameo. Kind of rude. They got Mycosynth Gardens to copy Amulet. I can flip Tameo here, which I want to do because that could mean buying back defense grid or pest control next turn. Frog is fine, but I think I like Force Negation a lot better. This gives me a way to interact with Scape Shift. Ha! Ha! Patrick! Targets! Fortunately, they've got Dismember for my my Tameo flip. So I guess I put Preordain on the stack, see if they want to interact with this. Don't interact with the Tameo. Opponent has got quite the cajones, not wanting to interact with Tameo. Gonna kill the frog here. Frog dead. Boreal Grazer does literal nothing. And I'm about to get to untap and rebuy Pest Control. There's a little bowman. I give up my Tameo, but even if they find like a bounce land, they can't play a Titan here. So I should get to hardcast one of these Riddlers next turn. Got it. Look at Tameo. For 5. Go ahead. I play out the frog just so we have 2 lethal attackers next turn. Between the frog and the Quantum Riddler. Survey says pew pew pew. Okay. Well, unfortunately, Kachow put a damper in our winning streak with Riddler. How'd they do? I just saw it. They're still playing. But at the same time, like 9-1 over the last 10, 13-2 over the last 3 leagues with Riddler. Pretty good. I can't say I have any negatives to say about the deck. Like glaring negatives. All good. Getting cooked by Tron right now. You can't beat me and then go get cooked by Tron. It's not allowed. But I guess they do have Karn the Great Creator, probably. Okay. Changes I would make to the list going forward. Turn 2 Karn in 2 games. Dude. Tron's stupid. I hate that they keep giving them these like Ugin's Lab style extra mana effects. Things that I would change to the deck. The 4 Riddler is nice. It might be 1 too many, but I have really liked having it as just like a turn 2 play. Because a lot of times with all the pitch spells, you're not like really tapping out on turn 2. So I don't hate having the full 4. Kind of the same thing with Kaito. I'd rather have it. We saw in the loss to Affinity round 4 that not seeing a way to generate card advantage is so detrimental to the deck. So I would rather have the Riddler, the extra Riddler, and like ditch it to a frog, ditch it to a subtlety, force negation, whatever. Just play it out, replace itself, then not have the ability to see more cards. That being said, I felt like I was over sideboarding a lot. I felt like I was trimming on Kaitos and Riddlers really, really aggressively, and I think I need to reconfigure my sideboard to not trim so heavily on like the card advantage parts of the deck. So we've got our free engine, we've got our card advantage engine stuff around. We've got our card advantage engine. We've got our like setup, interaction, flex spots. I think I trim out of this too much and not enough out of this. I think Preordained needs to be a lot more cuttable post board. Bowmasters for sure. Thoughtseize. So I would like to figure out a sideboard that includes like more haymakers and less slight value pieces. Like Pest Control I liked a lot. And I felt like I was pretty comfortable just trimming some amount of Bowmasters or Tameo for pest control. But like we saw there against Amulet at the end, I think I shaved like 2 Kaito and a Riddler or something for pest controls. And I think I should have just cut Fatal Push all together or something like that. So it's still a learning process for sure. I'd like to see a version with red instead of white. I think having access to Meltdown and land destruction post side would be even better for the deck. Do you think Meltdown would have been better than pest control? Like, possibly could have, but when I compare the two, I'm looking at pest control getting to be the same mana cost more often, but you can cycle it when it's dead. And Meltdown is just like gonna be the same mana cost, but you don't have the option to cycle it. You've got a Meltdown, period. Neither of them pitch to subtlety or force, so there's like a little bit of a on both of them. But the land destruction, like, if you're looking for an answer to, say, Urza's Saga, you could run March of Otherworldly Light. You could run a Disenchant effect. Like, there's a lot of answers to Saga if that's what you're looking at answering. I just think that, like, Pest Control has been more interactive than Meltdown would be. Morgan's Tron. I don't think land destruction's that good against Tron. It's okay, but like the only reason that decks like Boros can get away with Molten Rain or something like that is because they have the clock to punish that extra turn. We don't really have the clock. So our game plan against Tron is just more about consign, buy back consign with Tameo, find more consigns with Frog, Kaito, Riddler, force things you can't consign. Like taking them off a land, but then they get 4 more draw steps to find it again. All that impactful. Harbinger's really good in the matchup, though. I would absolutely say if Tron is a target, board in an extra copy of Harbinger. I joined a bit late, curious to what the thought process was bringing in Strategic Betrayal versus the robot stuff. Do they have Emery? I never saw Emery, but I assumed based off how the end of game 1 was going, and Kachizi can confirm or deny, it felt like there was a Kappa Cannoneer in hand. And so Strategic Betrayal was another answer for Kappa Cannoneer. And then I saw Kappa game 2. So it ended up being like the right choice. And game 3 is just kind of confirmed. But game 1 towards the end, it felt like a Kappa Cannoneer. But I never saw one, and I never saw an Emery or a Tameo. So that was my guess, is that they had Kappa, and I wanted to be able to interact with that better. But Strategic Betrayal is really, really awkward into a bunch of Pinnacle Emissary drone tokens and Memnites and Ornithopters. There's just not like a lot of great ways to interact with Kappa when you don't have Counterspell. It's Subtlety, Mystical Dispute, Strategic Betrayal, Dreams of Steel and Oil, and that's like it.